Hello and welcome back to Cardboard Decoy Plays Gnomoria. So now we are waiting for our butcher shop to be completed, which should be fairly quickly. As soon as one of our builders wakes up, they should be right on it. Or, you know, they're going to continue to replace floors like I asked them to, and apparently we have a perpetually oscillating sort of floor here. Not entirely sure what's up with that. I don't know, well, I guess I could try to see where are my builders. Assign builder. Let's go move 2. He's sleeping. And Axel, move 2. He's training. And we have our mason, Rimble. And a move 2, also sleeping. Okay, cool. So that's why he's kind of just waiting for his turn to actually fight, and everybody else is asleep. So yeah, as I had predicted beforehand. So here we go. There's our autosave. Hooray! So we've gotten our attack out of the way for the season. I don't know exactly how often they attack. I just know that they spawn periodically, and then you have to deal with it basically. So what's good though is that we'll be able to take these skulls, make skull helmets out of them, which I plan to equip our bowyers with, and then we will also set up a new position that is crossbows gnome. Everything in here is replaced with gnome anyway, so why not? Perk, Highlander. Increased two-handed melee damage, increased decapitation when no armor is equipped. Oh, that's kind of cool. Increased attack when wielding 2 weapons. Way of the Gnome. Scout. Come on. Increased move speed and vision range with torch. Guard. Increased block chance and rate. Increased ranged weapon range and accuracy. That's probably going to be good. Range damage increases with distance. Target nearby fallen enemies and do additional damage. And higher chance to hit legs and feet. These are all pretty good. Higher chance to hit hands and arms. Way of the Gnome is what we have on the other ones. So we're going to do Mark's Gnome. Increased ranged weapon range and accuracy. Uniform. We are going to do a new uniform. Pursue lost targets. Maintain distance. Retreat if bleeding. Retreat to equip uniform. And refill ammo. Assist squad leader. Yeah, we're going to do all of that. We're going to do a new one, which is going to be crossbow. And this is going to be head. Helmet. We're going to try to stick with rose, platinum, steel, iron, lead. Where is... Hold on. At least average. Okay, that's a quality thing. Is it a different... Yeah, here we go. Skull helmet. Body. Leather cuirass. Leather bracer. Once we start making them. Leather glove. Leather boot. Left hand. Let's do right hand. We were going to have crossbows. I believe crossbows are two-handed. Blunderbusses are two-handed. Okay, it automatically assigned it to left hand. And then flintlock pistols, however, are one-handed. So what you'll end up doing is equipping a lot of gnomes with those for one-handed with shield kind of deals. So, but here we go. We got head, leather, crossbow. Position, that is under crossbows gnome, uniform, crossbow, formations. We're going to have a new one that is crossbow, perk. Oh boy, we've got a stuck tooltip. Okay, let's go back to military, try that again. Formations, crossbow, perk. Keep your eyes open. The best defense, increased melee. Firing squad, increased ranged weapon damage for each member with a ranged weapon. Absolutely. And then we're going to have just all of these guys are crossbow gnomes. Crossbow gnomes. Crossbow gnomes. Defend dwarves, naturally. Avoid enemies. Perform attack orders. And then we're going to do... Yes, the royal bowers. We don't have any bows yet or anything. We're just getting everything ready for whenever we do, so... hopefully that'll be pretty soon. Then I built the correct workshop for actually making bows, which would be ideal, naturally. leather is going to be a little bit of an issue, since we were kind of hoping to have a whole bunch of yaks to provide that for us, but it looks like we're going to have to stave that off for the time being and stick to... well, I don't know if goblins actually produce leather. We're going to find that out, hopefully, pretty soon here. So, but we're good on drinks, good on food for the time being. We're still definitely growing plenty of it. Let's go ahead and tell these guys to do... Now that all the apple trees are grown in, we're going to take clippings of all of these trees, have a healthy number of excess things, and then once that's done, we'll have it set to normally cycle to just pick the fruit. So we'll have more than enough clippings to keep those trees alive, and then whenever winter rolls around, we cut down the apple wood, add some variety to the colors that we see. Right now our builders are building all of this stuff, so we're not getting anything built down here just yet, but that's fine. That's where my priorities ended up being, and I will deal with it. So, no big deal. Okay, I'm trying to see what else do I want to do. I do want to carve away all of this terrain up here eventually, so that I can actually see my cool housing. Okay. And then, yeah, so this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're halfway to being able to actually provide housing for all of our gnomes. So, hopefully we'll be able to solve that fairly quickly. But again, not a huge priority. Alright, they're almost done taking clippings here. And then we'll change the settings to pick fruit, plant saplings. And then that'll be good. Alright, cool. And that just boosted our food stores quite a bit. And there we go. Butcher shop is done. Machine shop needs a chair and a cutting wheel. Ooh, is cutting wheel, is that a metal thing? I think that's a metal thing. Damn. Hold on, let's double check. Yeah, saw blade. Yeah, it's not gonna happen until we actually get a metal shop going. That's fine, that'll be forever queued. We'll at least have that set up. What is that? That is a machine shop. Let's go ahead and we're going to tell it to queue up building a... What do we want? We have a machine shop, an engineer shop. Let's make sure we go ahead and build that too. And then we'll start being a little concerned about perhaps building a forge and some other things that we'll be able to actually do metalworking with in the future. Alright, for now we are going to mine walls. We're going to do another 5x8. 1, 2, 5x8. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. That's what I want. And then 5x8 here. There we go. That's not where I wanted to put the door exactly, but close enough. I'm not going to cry over it. Alright, so they're going to dig all of that out. Hey, and there's coal. We'll have them dig that out as well. Yep, more coal. Good, good. That'll get us started on actual mining of, or doing some metalworking here in the near future. Might have to wait until we get more gnomes so that we can actually have somebody be dedicated to finding minerals for us. Let's see, because there's 2 different ways you can get minerals in this game. Let's do, first of all, build wall, stone wall, and sandstone. Yeah, I'll stop that real quick. Okay. So that's planted. Orange trees are starting to come up. That's good. We've got a pretty decent flow on our food supply now. Can't argue against that. We've kind of cut off some of our resources there, but that's not a huge ordeal. We can just mine out some walls. So here we go. We'll do like so. We'll have a little back alley for all of our workshops here, and we can start building them more in this direction as well. Okay. It's going to take forever for them to actually mine through those gems. We'll cancel this job. There we go. No big deal. So we definitely have some gemstones there that we could work with if we really want to just totally skyrocket our value. Okay. And And yes, so we have some more workshop spaces. We'll wait for them to finish building at least this one. Engineer shop, we need one wrench. That's another metalworking thing. Damn it. Alright. Let's do... We're gonna do a couple things really quick just to get them set up. We'll do a smelter so we can smelt the goblin tools. Oh hey, our butchery is set up. So let's go butcher shop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we need the smelter to start smelting goblin stuff that we end up getting. Let's do mine wall here. Like that. That'll get a little tangential, but that's fine. So one of our cooks, or the person who's also doing the brewing, could also potentially be tearing apart these corpses for their meat and other goodies. Hopefully that'll be happening fairly soon. We'll see. Okay. And no more coal on that little path. Go ahead and build around like we did the other way. And then we can further justify walling off certain sections. Alright. 2. 1, 2. Build. Terrain. Wall. Stone wall. Sandstone. Good stuff. Okay, 1, 2. Alright, more continuity there. Always nice. I appreciate it. If we could find a good copper vein, that'd be really good. But really, what we need now... What is going on here? Overview. I want to know why it's red. Why is it red right now? Is it because we're full on stuff here? Yeah, it appears so. Skull, meat, skull, meat, skull, yak hide, yak bone. Hide, 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 meat, meat, meat. Yak meat, yak skull. Wow! Yaks produce a lot of meat. I could definitely see why it would be considered full now. Alright, cool. So what we need is a bone worker. So we're gonna go build, workshop, and we'll need a... Let's see, where are we at? Leather worker, no. Bone carver. And then we're gonna set him up next to a tailor shop. And then, let's see, since this is animal processing, it's not particularly organized. I'm going to go through and definitely reset all of that, but let's also go build storage. This is going to keep them busy, for certain. Okay. Just start building a shit ton of crates. And they can stash all of that stuff around. Alright, let's go real quick. Take clippings. And then, just because I'm an impatient type of person, we're going to take clippings from here as well. So we got a lot of food on the outside that needs to start being brought in. Okay. In addition to all the other bones. Actually, you know what? Let's keep this a little bit more organized. Let's cancel this job. Whoa, easy. Okay. Build. Workshop. Bone carver. Build. Bone carver. Right there. Perfect. And that's a tailor. And right next to the tailor we will have a loom. And we'll be able to build all of our clothing stuff. Or not necessarily clothing, but all of our weaving stuff will be right there, which I think is actually pretty ideal. So we'll let that go for a second and hopefully get all of these built pretty soon. In addition to all of our crates and everything else. So we're pretty good on food. Drink will be fine. Let's see. We got a ton of wheat beer. Yeah, why is that? It's not... Is that counting? That's more than 12, so it must not be counting because it's not actually stockpiled. So we'll have to... We might need to be a little concerned about that. There's a pine barrel. Contents. It's empty. Nobody's taking it there. We'll have to start building transporters as well. It's really easy to get totally caught up in building workshops and all these other things that are ostensibly necessary. There we go. Now it's no longer red, so they can continue work there later on. We've got a worn copper hand axe. Totally decent. Got a lot of food. Hopefully we start chewing through that fairly quickly. Haha. Alright. And we got all those clippings coming in. That should tie us over for 50 orange trees nearby. And then if we get really desperate, we can go cut down all the other orange trees. And it's no big deal. Okay. And we need to let these guys catch up a little bit. So, because I've definitely tasked them, maybe even over-tasked them a little bit. Okay. So, how are we doing up here? Terrain. Stone floor. Sandstone. After saying I've overtasked them, I will task them more, naturally. It's okay, the builders aren't really used for creating these other things. I guess a lot of the problem is the woodcutters are also participating in the horticulture aspect here, so they're not necessarily building anything down here for this other stuff. So, you know, it's totally fine though. We'll make do. And now we wait. We wait for just a little bit while we catch up on all of this and see if anything particularly weird happens. Alright, yep, they're planting the orange trees now. This is really good, as we had wanted them to do all along. And that's going to be, between the strawberries, apples, and oranges here, that's going to be all the food we're going to need to worry about for quite some time. Training our lonesome male yak. He had a buddy, now the buddy is gone. Sad times for all. And then a whole bunch of shops that need to be built that we can use to continue to move on. Yeah, pretty nice. Fortunately, this episode is almost over. Yeah, we got like 3 minutes or so. So we can just sort of sit here and watch them go. See what ends up happening. That kind of a deal. If anything exciting actually does manage to happen, that would be really cool. But at the same time, you know, no news is good news. It works both ways. And it looks like, yeah, I managed to dig a path right through where there was no stone at just the right angle. There was stone underneath for sure, and then I ended up mining all of that out, but if I had just gone barely to either side, I would have found just a ton of stone to work with, and that would have been just as fine. C'est la vie, as it were. This is actually a really good area for like doing some kind of terracing work as well. I'm wondering what I could turn that into, maybe more forestry area or farmlands or something. So, there we go. We've got more straw. I dare say we will be sustainable through the winter on our straw, thanks to having only one yak now. I'm kind of hoping a market person comes by so that we can take advantage of that eventually, but we'll see how that ends up actually working out. Birch workbench, birch chair, pine bellows. We're almost done with this. Yeah, we've got everything we need for that. What do we need for a bone carver? We got everything we need for that. So it'll be whatever the builders decide to build next after they're done with the floors here. So that ought to be fun to watch. And yeah, once we get this up, or all of our tailoring stuff will actually be able to start making beds. And once we can start making beds, then we can start setting up our rooms. Try to prioritize by most useful dwarves to least useful dwarves, just so that they will sleep faster, sleep longer, or well, sleep better in a shorter amount of time, and then yeah, we'll absolutely just have all of our efficiency skyrocket, and all will be well. Now, another thing I need to start working on, once we start coming up with better areas for all of our workshops, we'll also have better areas to store everything. And that leads to a whole other set of questions about how we want to design stuff. Like, do we want to put workshops up on the second floor, since we'll have a lot of people working there, and then partition all of this out into individual storage areas? Because this isn't going to be the norm forever. We're eventually going to reset everything so that we'll be able to basically just have everything partitioned off, so all the seeds will be near the farms over here somewhere. Might even build a little hut with an underground storage area. That's usually what I like to do. I think that's fairly reasonable and sort of aesthetically pleasing. And then underneath here we'll have all of our iron, dirt, things like that. Eventually we'll get a prospector who will be able to pull slivers of metals out of just the dirt we've been digging out, and also the stone that we find in excess. And all these other fun little things that we can set up, and interesting designs that we can contemplate and begin building out eventually. So that'll be the next thing that happens. But now we have our smelters finally built. So what we want to do is find all the worn stuff. So we don't want any worn swords. We'll just smelt, repeat. Same with that. Smelt, repeat. This usually applies to stuff that comes off of the goblins. So rather than hold on to them and use a subpar weapon, we'll just smelt them down as soon as we spot them, and then be able to use those materials on further things. Now, unfortunately, what we need is somebody to actually run the smelter. We need someone to run the smelter and the furnace and that kind of stuff, which would be really, really good. And then usually what I do is I have a keeper of the forge or something like that. Yeah, wrenches are a metal item. We're not going to be able to do any of that stuff until we get metalworking set up, so we'll let them stay as monk gnomes, gnome monks, monklings, whatever you want to call them, and they will continue in that position. Let's see, what do we need here? A loom and a chair, those are both wooden things. Table chair, bone needle. That should be figured out pretty quickly. Let's go population, professions, and we're going to add to rancher miscellaneous crafts. We should have bone carving as well. So there we go. A guy who normally does our ranching will also craft bones into things. So we need not only a needle, but we also want skull helmets and maybe even bone shirts. I'm not entirely sure. But the skull helmets will end up going on our bow or crossbow gnomes once we get crossbows going as well. So these are all things on the to-do list, naturally. Let's go ahead and we're going to mine out even more walls now. Does that line up? That should line up. So 5 by 8 and 5 by 8. There we go. A couple more rooms for our crafting. Eventually we'll want to build doors too, but we're going to let them catch up on this. So this has been Cardboard Decoy playing Gnomoria. If you've enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. Next episode, we'll continue on our path to try to get this infrastructure taken care of. You know, it should be pretty obvious exactly what it is we're trying to accomplish at this point. We're still getting established, and then we can start deciding on what mega projects to do and that kind of fun stuff in the future. So until then, have fun.